You know how sometimes you hear about a place and it's like, could this be the next big thing, that hidden gem everyone wants to be in on?
Right, like you just stumbled on a secret.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, today we're diving deep into a place that just might be that hidden gem. Queen Creek, Arizona. We're talking about starting a business and whether Queen Creek is the place to be.
I'm intrigued. Like, what makes this place so special?
Well, get this. It's right near Phoenix. So you've got that big city energy close by, but with a small town vibe.
Oh, that's a combo a lot of people are looking for these days, best of both worlds.
And they seem to really roll out the red carpet for new businesses.
You mean in terms of practical support?
Totally. Like, did you know they have a 5-year freeze on property taxes for new businesses?
Wow, 5 years. That's huge, especially in those early stages when every penny counts.
Right. It's like they're saying, we want you here, come set up shop and don't worry about those taxes for a while.
That's a pretty sweet deal. Makes you wonder what else they've got going on.
Well, hold on tight, because this report says they're expecting a major population boom in the next decade or so. Like a whopping 76% increase.
Whoa, 76%. That's massive. But that kind of growth can be a mixed bag for businesses, right?
Exactly. It's like a tidal wave. Potentially great for business, but you've got to know how to ride it. Think about it. A business catering to young families. They'd be looking at that growth like, jackpot.
Yeah, but a niche vintage record store, they might need to rethink things.
Precisely. And speaking of demographics, get this. The median age in Queen Creek is 33.7 years old.
Interesting. So a pretty young community, likely tech-savvy, maybe a bit more open to new ideas.
Which could be a goldmine for the right business. But here's the million-dollar question. Can you actually afford to be in Queen Creek with all this going on?
Right, because opportunity is great, but affordability is everything.
And here's where Queen Creek throws a curveball. Despite being so close to Phoenix, the cost of living is surprisingly reasonable.
Really? No, that's interesting. You'd think with all this growth and opportunity, prices would be through the roof. It is pretty surprising, right? You'd assume the prices would match the hype, but that's the cool thing about Queen Creek. It's affordable opportunity. For someone just starting out, that can make or break things.
No kidding. So break it down for us. When we talk about lower costs, what are we really talking about saving on as a new business owner?
Think of it this way. Your rent, keeping the lights on, even what you pay your employees. It's all going to be less in Queen Creek compared to, say, Scottsdale.
Makes sense. And those savings can go right back into the business.
Exactly. Give you that financial breathing room to really make smart decisions for growth.
It's like having a safety net, but instead of catching you when you fall, it's boosting you higher. And then you add in those amazing tax benefits. We talked about the 5-year grace period on property taxes.
Seriously, that's practically unheard of.
And Arizona making things easy with their business taxes. It's like they're rolling out the red carpet A&D, handing you a welcome basket full of cash.
They've definitely got the right idea. But even with all the perks, you've got to have a solid local economy to tap into.
Totally. The report mentioned healthcare, retail, and education as being really strong in Queen Creek, which is great and all, but some people listening might be thinking, okay, but what about my business? Where do I fit in?
That's the entrepreneur's dilemma, isn't it? You don't just want to be another face in the crowd.
Right. You want to find that sweet spot, a need you can fill, a problem you can solve.
Fill that gap, disrupt the market, that's where the magic happens.
And speaking of gaps, the report actually pointed out a couple of interesting ones, specifically a demand for more specialized retail and childcare services, which of course are just examples. But they got me thinking, even with all these advantages, starting a business, no matter where you do it, it can be lonely, you know?
It's true. You're putting yourself out there, taking risks. Having a support system, other people who get it, that can make all the difference.
And it sounds like Queen Creek really understands that. They've got this program, Arizona Work, that actually connects businesses with qualified job seekers for free.
Oh yeah, Arizona Work is amazing. It's like having a personal recruiter, but without the hefty price tag.
That in itself speaks volumes. And then on top of that, you've got the Queen Creek Chamber of Commerce, which, from what we're hearing, is next level networking and support. It's like having a built-in cheer squad right there with you every step of the way.
Exactly. And that kind of personal connection, that sense of community, it's hard to find, especially when you're building something from scratch.
Okay, so we've talked about the good, but like with any big decision, you gotta look at both sides. Are there any downsides to Queen Creek's small town charm? Like, what are the challenges?
That's a smart question and something anyone thinking about Queen Creek needs to consider. One thing that comes to mind is the size of the market.
You mean because it's a smaller community?
Right. If you're a business that relies on high volume, tons of customers, Queen Creek might not be the best fit.
It's like opening a mega mall in a town with one traffic light, right?
Exactly. And even if your business model doesn't depend on huge crowds, getting the word out, standing out in a smaller town, that can be its own hurdle.
It's that whole if you build it, will they come thing. You might have to hustle a little harder, be a bit more creative to get noticed.
Absolutely. But that being said, for the right business, the rewards can be huge. You build those strong relationships, that sense of loyalty, and as Queen Creek grows, you grow with it.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, the right business in the right place at the right time.
And that's what we're trying to figure out today. So, big picture, Queen Creek, we've covered a lot. The location's prime, the cost of living's reasonable, the growth is mind-blowing.
And they really seem to support businesses, not just with words, but with action.
Totally. Those tax incentives, those programs like Arizona Work, it's clear they're serious about attracting entrepreneurs, but it always comes back to this. What's your vision? What kind of business are you building?
It's not just about whether Queen Creek is a good place to start a business. It's about whether it's the right place for your business. And that's something only you can answer. But hopefully, this deep dive has given you the info, the insights to make that decision with confidence.
Exactly. Because knowledge is power. The more you know, the better equipped you are to navigate the exciting and, let's face it, sometimes terrifying world of entrepreneurship.
So to everyone listening, keep asking those tough questions, do your research, and as always, happy diving.